I have a most improved conservative award to hand out. Most improved conservative. By the way, email Sam at what'srightshow.com, Sam at what'srightshow.com, and on Twitter, now known as X, at What's Right Sam. And actually, I know we don't like to give out any participation trophies here, right? I have two people I want to give the most improved conservative, Republican, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, our side of the aisle, most improved award to two Americans. Now, okay, let me tell you the first American that I want to give this award to is Marco Rubio. I've said this before. Marco Rubio has proven to be an exceptional Secretary of State. And one of the most surprising things is that he has no problem defending his record in the Senate to his former colleagues, Democratic senators. You know, the Senate is a different animal. A lot of people don't realize this. You get into the Senate, very collegial, and even senators who are on the opposite side of the aisle tend to get along and do things together and overall avoid the type of acrimony that we are accustomed to, those of us who are fighting on the outside of things in D.C., they avoid that. But not Marco Rubio. He, I think, was a fairly collegial guy and has now evolved into a street fighter. This guy's a bare knuckle boxer. I'm going to play in a little bit the exchange between him and the clown, a.k.a. Chris Van Hollen, Mr. Margarita with Tren de Aragua gang member in El Salvador, that Chris Van Hollen. And I tell you, he just put Senator Van Hollen in his place and reduced him to a blubbering mess. Here's what transpired in a hearing about immigration, among other things, examination of Marco Rubio, this on Capitol Hill.
You have a different standard based upon the color of somebody's skin. Would that be acceptable?
Well, I'm not the one arguing that. Apparently, you are, because you don't like the fact that they're white, and that's why they're coming.
I'm just asking you to say that that would be unacceptable.
Well, no,
that
I would say that the United States,
a very easy thing
the United
to say.
States has a right to pick and choose who they allow into the United States.
Even based on the color of somebody's skin.
No one's. You're the one that's talking about the color of their skin, not me. These are people whose farms were being burned down and they were killed because of the color of their skin.
Well,
Well, you've demonstrated enough because you think anyone should be allowed into this country for any reason because they met a certain criteria.
Who has said that?
We are going to prioritize people that come into our country on the basis of what's in the interest of this country. That's a small number of people that are coming.
But you said this weekend that there would be more.
But in other cases, it's harder to vet. In other cases, it's more difficult. And by the way, the United States admits people every year. 1 million people come to this country every year legally. 1 million.
And
people
now
a year come to this
there is
country
one
legally.
group
No
of
other
people that
country in the
have
world
an
is nearly as
easy
generous.
pass into this country. For the first time, this administration has said Afrikaners get an easy pass and refugee programs for the remainder of the world are shut off. And you can't say to the American public that we should apply this statute in an even-handed way.
No, I think it should be applied in a way. No, well, you
back.
shouldn't be shocked. It should be applied in the national interest of the United States. Our immigration policy should be based on the national interest of the United States, period. End of story. If there is a subset of people that are easier to vet, who we have a better understanding of who they are and what they're going to do when they come here, they're going to receive preference, no doubt about it. There are a lot of sad stories around the world, millions and millions of people around the world. It's heartbreaking. We cannot assume millions and millions of people around the world. No country can.
Bingo. And what it is, by the way, they're getting at here is, of course, the South African immigrants who came over, a small, relatively small group of them of a couple hundred, and the left melted down because these Afrikaners, of course, are, hold your breath, white. And everybody's getting the vapors because how dare we accept immigrants who look like us, right? Because if you're a Democrat, the image of America is, in your mind's eye, is driven by multiculturalism and diversity. The only factor that matters is race. Nobody here on the Trump side, on the administration side, was talking about the race of the Afrikaners. It's just a bona fide, verified fact that these people are productive citizens in their home country and are being driven out by a racist and dangerous political force. The government there is not particularly hospitable. And incidentally, I hate to put it even in these terms, but the Afrikaners are a minority in South Africa and are a targeted minority. I mean, the Democrats ought to be losing their minds over this in a good way. Oh my gosh, we're helping a minority group that is being targeted on the basis of their race. But the Trump administration didn't even say that. They're just saying, look, these people are productive citizens. We can vet them. We can pull up their, criminal histories, and we can run a background check. And, we can't really do that for these people that are coming out of Haiti or Somalia or Venezuela, because those governments are in shambles and are unable to provide this background biographical, criminal information. So Van Hollen, this is the senator that went out to see Abrego Garcia and had margaritas with him. And he's done talking, right? He's done. This was an absolute televised murder. This was yesterday during a Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearing. And Van Hollen, at the end of his diatribe against Marco Rubio, with Rubio sitting right there, gets nasty, and he says that he regrets having voted for Marco Rubio, confirming him to his role as Secretary of State. And it just gets better from there.
I have to tell you directly and personally that I regret voting for you for Secretary of State. I yield back.
May I respond?
You may sit.
Well, first of all, your regret for voting for me confirms I'm doing a good job, based on what I know.
Well, that's
about
just
your
a
record
flippant
and what you
statement,
stand
Mr.
for.
Secretary.
Can I respond, Mr. Chairman?
You may.
I didn't ask the
Senator,
question.
please let the Secretary have
I'd be
the floor.
happy to, but then I can respond to his
Your
response.
time's up, Senator, and willfully used, I might add.
Well-
Your remarks do not represent the view of this committee.
Well, Mr. Chairman-
Secretary, please.
Well, I'd like to. I can't respond to everything he said because much of these are untrue, but I'll go through a few. First of all, I'm actually very proud of the work we've done with USAID. For example, I don't regret cutting $10 million for male circumcisions in Mozambique. I don't know how that makes us stronger and more prosperous as a nation.
I raised
don't regret
Sudan, Mr.
psychosocial support services.
I raised
USAID.
Sudan, Mr. Secretary.
Can I
not
respond, Mr.
Mozambique.
Chairman, or do I?
Senator, I'd ask you to suspend. You had 7 straight minutes of
I chose to
railing on-
use my time that way, Mr. Chairman. That's my right to
Please
use my
suspend
time that way.
Secretary.
So anyway, this is him. I'm going to take a quick break here, but this is him. Basically, the chairman of the committee, a Republican, because the Republicans run the Senate, right? They're in the majority, so the chair is always going to be a Republican, and then the ranking member would be the senior most Democrat. So the chairman here is like, hey, Senator Van Hollen, you are done with your time. And Van Hollen keeps grandstanding. He keeps getting triggered. This is what low IQ people do, folks. This is how we know that Marco Rubio is one of the most improved Republicans of 2025. I put him and, of course, Megyn Kelly up for that prize. And so this is how it was going. So, just before the break was Chris Van Hollen regretted, and he said this, regrets voting for Marco Rubio for his confirmation and then Marco Rubio's retorted, well, listen, then I think I'm doing a great job. Killer. Anyway, Senator Van Hollen is admonished by the chairman, of the committee, and then says, okay, your time's up. You can't keep grandstanding, and so Marco Rubio cuts back.
Secretary Rubio.
Well, I can go on. I mean, there's other things here. We spent $227,000 for Big Cat's YouTube channel from USAID. We spent $14 million for social cohesion in Mali, whatever the hell that means. So I can go on and on. I got the list here, and there's more. I didn't even bring the whole list. In the case of El Salvador, absolutely. Absolutely. We deported gang members, including the one you had a margarita with. And that guy is a human trafficker, and that guy is a gangbanger, and the evidence is going to be clear. In the days to come,
Mr.
you're going to see
Chairman,
who you went to
look,
defend.
I'm sorry,
Please,
Mr. Chairman.
Secretary
No.
Rubio has the floor.
Mr. Chairman, he can't make unsubstantiated
Senator,
comments like that.
Secretary Rubio has the floor. You've had
Secretary
your time.
Rubio should take that testimony to the federal court of
Senator,
the United States because
well,
he hasn't done it under oath.
Here's another point, okay? There is a division in our government between the federal branch and the judicial branch. No judge in the judicial branch cannot tell me or the president how to conduct foreign policy. No judge can tell me how I have to outreach to a foreign partner or what I need to say to them. And if I do reach to that foreign partner and talk to them, I have under no obligation to share that with the judiciary branch. Just like a judge cannot order me to negotiate with a foreign minister of Russia, they cannot order me to negotiate with a foreign minister or the president of El Salvador. And if I did negotiate with them, which we have responded to them, and we've told them, we've had communications with the president of El Salvador, I am under no obligation under our division of powers in this country and to share with the judicial branch how I conducted diplomacy of the United States. It would actually be counterproductive. If I started sharing with courts, or frankly, with the media, my conversations with foreign leaders and all of their details, no foreign leader would talk to me again, and we would break trust with them. So I have complied with every court order. What I won't comply with is an order to disclose what I'm saying and what we're talking about with a foreign leader, because then they won't talk to me. Diplomacy doesn't work that way. About the student visas, let me say this. I don't deport anybody, and I don't snatch anybody. The State Department does not have officers in the street snatching everybody. What I do is revoke visas, and it's very simple. A visa is not a right. It is a privilege.
And this is the exact point where Marco Rubio is saying something that is literally stirring my soul. It's like getting this goes to the very core of my being. And I take this all the way back to when I was a student myself, when I started my college career at UCI, University of California, Irvine, not the University of Chinese Immigrants, as some refer to it as. But I was there, and there were, at the time, right, this was 1998, 1999 was my freshman year. And we had a very active Muslim student union, and they were, violently protesting against anybody that came on campus. And a lot of these students were visitors. They were here on student visas. They were paying a buttload of money into the UC schools, so the schools loved having them, but they were guests of the United States of America. And this is just, a couple years before September 11th. And, we were getting very lax with these student visas, as we certainly found out. I didn't go to a pilot school, but, it felt like it at times. So anyway, I fantasized. I thought, you're literally a guest of this country. I'm dreaming of a scenario where we would have the balls to kick you out for hating on the very country that is providing you an education. And this is what Marco Rubio is saying. He's literally saying he is getting into, as Secretary of State, because this is authority given to him in the U.S. Code, as Secretary of State, he's getting into the granular of looking at these protests and seeing, hey, are any of these people here on student visas? And if they are, out you go.
Privilege. People apply for student visas to come into the United States and study. And if you tell me that you're coming to the United States to lead campus crusades, to take over libraries and try to burn down buildings and acts of violence, we're not going to give you a visa.
Is that what Ms. Ostork did?
We're not going to give you a visa.
Is that what she did? Come on, Mr. Secretary.
And every single one of these cases, the factors are different.
Senator,
the bottom line is, if you're coming here to stir up trouble on our campuses, we will deny you a visa. And if you have a visa,
First Amendment apply to
we'll revoke
living in the United States?
And we're going to do more. There are more coming. We're going to continue to revoke the visas of people who are here as guests and are disrupting our higher education facilities. People are paying money. These kids pay money to go to school, and they have to walk through a bunch of lunatics who are here on student visas.
Disrupting the foreign policy of the United States.
I want to do more. I hope we can find more of these people.
That's pathetic, Mr.
In fact,
Secretary.
the other day, some guys led a riot. I forgot what university it was, and I asked, please, can you find the arrest records of all the people that were arrested at that riot at that campus? Because if any of them have a visa, we're going to revoke it.
I feel so much safer when you lock up people like Ms. Ostork, Ms. Secretary.
We've had enough time on the subject. Thank you very much. And we're going to move to Senator Lee.
And that is how the fireworks ended.